Awesome, awesome. All right, so all right, we are moving right along. Poor Dale, we might have to keep on going without that. All right, so Walter, they tell me you went from the basketball court to stadiums, fill out stadiums. Like, dude, hello. It's finally good to actually meet you.
I know. Well, you know what? I'm excited to be here, and I think that Danielle just sold this whole seminar out. I mean, she talked about foreplay and panties and cash. I mean, we might need a stadium. I think we should move this thing to wherever the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, if you're out there, especially if you're a guy like me, if you're not in that ballroom, something's wrong with you. So we can shut down this Google Hangout right now because I think we just sold this thing out about 15, 20 minutes ago. No, but you're right. You know, I bring a whole different mentality, you know, to the whole training and development business. You know, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. In my first life, I pursued sports. You know, I was a good baseball player in baseball season. I was a good basketball player in basketball season. I was a good football player in football season. When Muhammad Ali came on TV, I thought I was going to be the next heavyweight champ. You know, I just was blessed by God to be an exceptional athlete. Played college basketball at the Division I level at the University of Minnesota and played 8 years of pro ball, you know. And so I became the best in the world before I was 30. You know, I got a chance to compete in the global marketplace, and we have so many young kids who dream about playing pro sports. You know, I did it. And in my family, this might sound crazy, it wasn't a big deal. You know, I was named after my uncle who played Major League Baseball. I got a sister who played college basketball and won 2 championships. And so I grew up in a home where excelling in sports and being a good student, you know, it was not a big deal. We were student athletes. You know, that's what we did all day. We played sports and we got our homework. My parents were never caught up. You know, my dad was a high school principal. My mother was a teacher. So I didn't come from a broken home. I didn't have to do what I had to do. I didn't have to hustle. I didn't have to run the streets. You know, I had to be home when the street lights came on. You know, some of my boys were in Chicago doing their thing, but when those street lights clicked on, Walt Bond's running home because my father didn't play. You know, I laugh at parents nowadays. They want to give kids timeouts. My daddy gave timeouts. He'll spank your butt until he got tired, and then my daddy would take a timeout, okay? So he raised his kids in a way that, you know, we weren't talking back, we weren't playing hooky. You know, he was a man. You know, he was old school. I tell people he was a gentleman. He was a gentle man. And so I actually attended my father's high school. So when I talk about my story and tell about the relationship I had with my dad, I was with my father 24 hours a day. I mean, I rode to school with my father. I attended this high school. I rode home with my father. We ate dinner together, and we slept under the same roof. So for many years in high school, I was literally with my dad 24 hours a day. And I respected him because he was the same man both places. He was the same man at school than he was at home. I saw him how he treated my mother like a lady. And so as far as I'm concerned, when I grew up, all I had to do is be half the man he was, and I'd be okay. But being a success in sports was amazing. And some people think, well, I never heard of him. Well, you know, I never heard of you either. You know, that's you. You know, in professional sports, they only want to talk about Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and they only talk about the superstars. If you really think about it, you know, there's 450 athletes in the NBA. And there's only 10 superstars. So the media in this 24-hour cycle, you know, talks about the superstars. They talk about the same guys right now today: Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, over and over. But you know what? There's 450 guys in the NBA, and I got a chance to wear that jersey for 3 years. And so when I left sports, I broadcasted for 2 years, and I hated it. And I'll never forget, I put a resume together and sat down with the HR professional. And this HR professional looked at my resume and had the nerve to tell me that my resume looked light. And I'm like, excuse me? My resume looked light? You know, all I could put on my resume was Utah Jazz, Dallas Mavericks, and Detroit Pistons. But how dare you tell me my resume's light? I became the best in the world at a young age. What you should see on my resume is that I'm committed. What you should see on my resume that I'm loyal. What you should see on my resume, I can set high goals and achieve them. What you should see on my resume, I already know how to compete in a global marketplace. And here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why you better get at full throttle. When that woman told me that she'll offer me entry level $28,000 after I played in the NBA, I didn't know about corporate America. I thought she was going to pay me $28,000 a month. And I'm thinking, you know, I can cut back and we can make that work. And she was like $28,000 a year. And I made a commitment. I want you guys to hear me clearly. I will never let another human being tell me how much I'm worth. That was the last time I let a breathing person look me in the eye and tell me what I'm worth. And that's what HR professionals are trained to do. They look at your background, they look at your resume, and they are trained to tell you what you're worth based on the dollar value. Some of you guys right now, this person told you you were worth $50,000. They told you you were worth $35,000. Some people told you you were worth minimum wage, $15 an hour. I made up my mind to never, ever let another human being tell me what I'm worth. And if you're with me, you should feel the same exact way. You let the marketplace tell you what you're worth. I let the marketplace talk to me. I never let another human being talk to me. And I like what the marketplace is saying to me because I understand that my daily activity and how I operate is going to trigger the marketplace to talk back to me. I don't need another human being to talk directly to me and tell me what I'm worth. The marketplace does. And here's the good news. As an athlete, I've been taught how to think, how to execute, and how to dominate. So when people see me grow a speaking business that took off very fast, they were blown away. Like, we've never seen a speaker grow so fast. What's your secret? I'm thinking, what are you talking about secret? Well, you know, what's your secret? You know, how did you grow a speaking business so fast? You know what my secret is? Just being me. That was my secret. But being an athlete to play at that level, you were trained a certain way. You had to have extreme confidence. I believe confidence is arrogance under control. Many of you guys right now need to come and hear Rhonda, hear Darnell, because you've already talked yourself out of success instead of talking yourself into success. If you don't have confidence, you are doomed. I hate to pick on ladies. I hear ladies say this all the time. Who does she think she is? Now, think about that for a moment. As an NBA player, could I go to Michael Jordan and say, yo, Mike, who do you think you are, man? You don't think Michael Jordan knows he's Michael Jordan? I'm playing against Michael Jordan. He knows he's Michael Jordan. And let me tell you something. You can't outproduce how you see yourself, right? You cannot outproduce how you see yourself. Remember back in school when kids got an A and they had straight A's and they got one B? And all of a sudden, we had to put them on suicide watch. Remember those kids? Their parents came to school and had parent-teacher conferences because of one B. You go to Harvard and Stanford and all these Ivy League schools. Some of these kids are getting the first B that they've ever gotten in their life, and they have put themselves on suicide watch because of one B. Think about it. They see themselves as A students, and anything less than the A won't do. But remember those C students, all right? A C student can get an A on a midterm, and that C student says this. Woo! Can you believe it? Me, I got an A on the midterm. My mom and dad don't even believe I did it. But you watch. Come final, you know I'll probably flag it, forget some homework, and before you know it, that C student who's off to a great start will sabotage themselves until they get back to a place where they're more comfortable. So here's my question. How do you think? How do you see yourself? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you something. When that woman said $28,000, it didn't agree with me because I knew I was worth more than that. So thank God I thought higher than myself, because if I didn't, you guys would have never heard of me. Some of you guys need to change how you think. And if you can think the right way, the next phase we have to do is to teach you how to execute good daily habits. The only way I play in the NBA, every day we drilled the fundamentals of basketball. So over 5 years, 10 years, the first time I touched a basketball was 8 years old. I didn't get paid to play in the NBA until I was 23. That's 15 years of habits and rituals. That's 15 years of graining fundamentals every single day until someone considered me a pro worthy to be paid a nice ransom. And so I want you to understand that you first got to think the right way. But business people, you have to have good daily activity. You know what? If nothing happens in business until something is sold, I'm a fundamentals guy. You know how I became wealthy? After my NBA career. And by the way, you better come to Full Throttle, because you know what my motto is? I don't hoop no more, but I'm still balling. Now, for you grammatarians, I know that's not correct English, but I don't care. I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I keep it real. I keep it 100 because I realize that success is a mentality. Success is all about how I think. And so I've been able to take my thought process from basketball into business. Through habits and rituals, I became an NBA player, and through habits and rituals, I've become a Hall of Fame speaker. I want you to hear my story, and I want to teach you all the habits and all the rituals that you need to execute to make sure that you're a pro in your industry. And here's one secret. Get in close. I want you to hear this. You know what? I did not even cash my NBA check for the first month. I forgot you got paid to play in the NBA. Right now, I don't even know how much money I have. But let me tell you something. I live in a neighborhood where the founder of Home Depot is my neighbor. Here's what I do know. My wife knows how much money we got. But I don't focus on the money. I never have. I don't care about money. But you know what I do care about? I want to be the best in the world at what I do. See, if you're the best in the world in basketball, the money will come. Am I right or wrong? And I understood that the motivational speaking business is a $6 billion industry. So if I become a Hall of Fame motivational speaker, being wealthy is a part of the landscape. And so I have never, ever in my life focused on money. I have always focused on becoming the best in the world at what I do. Now, I can't give you all the secrets tonight, but I want you to know, if you come to St. Pete, let me tell you something. I'm going to let Rhonda and Dale and Dernell do what they do, but let me tell you something. I'm going to do what I do, and I keep it real. It's going to be raw, and I'm going to give it to you straight with no chaser, but I understand life. It's going to be hard out here. You think it was easy for me to become an NBA player? I mean, think about it. Every boy around the world is trying to get one of those jerseys. And here's my mentality. Not today, dog. This is my jersey. This is my team. This is my time. You want to be a gentleman about it? And we can go back around the corner. It don't matter to me. I take everything that I want by force, because I understand that if I think the right way, if I put my time in, I'm going to eventually dominate. So here's the formula. We got to think the right way. I could defeat competition by my mental approach. But then that's not enough. We got to execute good daily habits, which is going to convert you into a pro, which is going to build your confidence. And before you know it, you can kick your competition's butt by just executing better than them. Do you guys know that 70 to 90% of small businesses fail to execute? They come into the new year, and I used to tease my grandmother. She wants me to eat black-eyed peas for prosperity. Come over here, baby. Eat some black-eyed peas for prosperity. And I would joke with my grandmother. I was like, okay, grandma, I'm going to eat a whole bowl of black-eyed peas so I can be rich. Love my grandmother. She's 93 years old. She got an iPhone 6 Plus. And my grandmother got a Facebook account. But let me tell you something. I love her to death. But our success has nothing to do with black-eyed peas. But it's got everything to do with how we think, how we execute. And it's the only way that I've been able to dominate and become the best in the world in 2 different industries. We've done it twice, and I'm not even 50 years old. I know I look good and black don't crack, but let me tell you something. I'm going to come and teach you everything I know. When we leave St. Pete and Full Throttle Experience, let me tell you something. We're going to be family right here, because we're going to think the right way. We're going to execute good daily habits, and we're going to be positioned, all of us in that ballroom, to dominate.
Wow. Listen, you said a mouthful, especially being a mother of two athletes. I have a 16-year-old competitive gymnast, Walter. So I totally understand, that mindset shift. And my son, he's 10, but of course, he's into basketball, football, and all of that. So I totally understand. And if for those of you all that are watching, if you are not ready to make a shift seriously in life and your business, Full Throttle is not the place for you. I mean, just listening tonight itself with Rhonda, Darnell, A. Jervy, and Walter, like if you think about it, if you really think about it, it's some key words that they all have used consistently tonight. And it's taking action, execution, implementation. Like if you ever looking for that magic pill, like that's it. That is the magic pill all day long. And I love the fact, Walter, that you said you got to change the way you look at things. I know there's a quote that says, if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will change. And I mean, I think that's huge. That is, I mean, so ever important. But it was something else that you said too, is the habits of rituals. And I know in sports, that's how you learn to perfect whatever skill that you are actually learning. And I mean, I know that for any sport across the board, and it goes back to consistency. How do you think that you're ever going to be the best you that you can ever be? It's going to go back to having those habits or rituals. You have to do the same thing consistently. I mean, you have to do the right thing consistently, but you have to do the same thing consistently. So, I mean, your message is just one that definitely needs to be heard. I mean, so much success at a young, graceful age.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm honored. I'm honored to be invited. And, my thought is this, one of the biggest mistakes, and this is my final thought and I'm done. I coach a lot of professionals that are angry and frustrated. And in many cases, they've kind of done it to themselves. And so, for example, I bought a house about 8 years ago in Minnesota. It's on 2 acres. And so we planted 28 willow trees in the backyard. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the willow trees, I don't know if you guys know about willow trees, they can't get enough water. The more water, the better. And we chose willow trees because the back of my property, the way they excavated the neighborhood, all the water ran to my backyard. And so I didn't realize how I could have the biggest lot at the cheapest price. But then I realized that's why, because all the water drained to our yard. But the guy at the landscape company told me to plant willow trees. And we planted 28 willow trees. They flourished within 5 or 6 years. They were 30 feet tall, right? The more water, the better. My grandmother, talking about my sweet grandmother, bought us a tree to remember her, even though she was still alive. And here's what happened. When we planted the willow, my grandmother's tree, it was called a blooming pear or something like that. We didn't like its location, so we moved it one time. I went back to the landscape company, and he was like, Walter, how's the trees? My willow trees are doing great, but that pear tree I bought from my grandmother is struggling. I mean, it's alive, but it's not really growing like the willow trees. He took me through this whole battery of tests. Where are you watering it? Yep. Is it in sunlight? Yep. And he was like, well, it doesn't make sense. What something else must have happened. I moved it one time. He said, that's your problem. Do you guys know when you move a tree, the root system goes into shock? And that's exactly what people do when they jump industries. So I'll coach people 50 years old. They've done this for 5 years. They've done that for 5 years. They've done this for 5 years. They've done that for 5 years. They're 55 years old, frustrated and angry. And they're basically like, Walter, fix me. And I go through their chronological history. I tell them my story of the willow tree and the pear tree. And here's the commitment I want everyone to make. You have got to commit to an industry. When I put those willows in the ground, they stayed put. And what happens, the root system gets a chance to develop, and the root system will germinate. And in many cases, there's things happening under the soil that you can't even see yet. But if you keep moving from industry to industry, to industry, it's going to be impossible to really be a peak performer because you're not giving yourself enough time to fully develop. So stop jumping industries. Find something you love and stay put.
Yes, yes. Uh-oh. Look who has joined us in the airport. Can you hear me? Mic check, mic check.
In the airport, everybody.
There he is. There's the man. Looking all intellectual. I love it.
Well, I want Walt to keep teaching, being on. Rhonda, thank you for being on. Lakeisha, thank you for hosting. Hey, Walt, man, keep going, brother. I just want to listen to the greatness, baby.
Hey, you know, we're rounding it up. We can't give away too much, man. If not,
right.
There's no reason to come to St. Pete. But let me tell you something.
That's right.
I want to go whether you let me speak or not, because it's some hot stuff that's talked about tonight, man. I'm not gonna put your business in the street, but man, shoot, I'll be at St. Pete whether I speak or not.
You can tell them what we talked about.
I don't want to get in trouble. My mama might be listening.
No. Microphone's been dropped. I heard all kind of stuff been happening. What's been going on? Y'all got to give me a quick update.
We've been having a good time. Good conversation.
That's right.
So yeah, you should have lots of ticket sales
Danielle?
coming in. Lots of ticket sales coming in.
I'm trying to tell you, boy, these folks playing around. I try to tell folks that I'm telling you, FTX 2016, we have never had this extraordinary ever. And we've had pumped that this is literally going to be a class from the Titans. I mean, I can't wait for every one of you. It's going to be absolutely remarkable, and I appreciate you all hang out with going to the next level. I told my team this, Walter and Darielle. I actually paid. I bought a ticket to my own conference. I actually paid to come to my own conference because I'm expecting a breakthrough. Come on, somebody, get infused up. You'll see, I'm always the first person so that I can come and get my own breakthrough. Now, I'm not sure if Rhonda told you guys when she was teaching her session, but when Rhonda came last year, she and I were in the same group during the board break, and there was some stuff in her own personal life. She wrote on her board, and I wrote on my board, and we crying, writing something on a wooden board. And man, the girl broke through her wooden board floor. She was such a breakthrough when she broke through on the floor in tears. She's like, I've never done that before, Del. I've spoken on every stage there is to speak on. I never broken through a board, but it wasn't just breaking through the wood. It was breaking through years of sabotage. And that's what FTX is all about. So we're excited about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dale, for joining in. Walter, we really appreciate a strong message, you know, about the habits of rituals. I love the story. We are looking forward to you and your wife coming to St. Pete and joining us there. And Danielle, of course, always to hear your voice and your message as well. So again, for those of you all that are on the fence, I urge you to go to FTX 2016. 2016 to get your ticket. I got to hear a little feedback. It might be Dale. Or we have staff members that are waiting to have a conversation with you at platinum1on1.com. That's platinum1on1.com. And so I'd love it if someone could post that out in the group, just in case you guys can't hear me clearly. That's platinum1on1.com. 2016 Full Throttle is going to be amazing. And so next we have Davin Michaels, Vivica Van Rosen, Antonio. So stay tuned, and we appreciate you all joining us tonight. Thank you. Any last words before we say good night?
Nope. I'm just going to say again, thank you to all of our incredible faculty. You guys do the world to us, and thank you for everyone who's watching. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hopefully y'all can hear me. Anyway, thank you all so much for jumping on. excited and pumped about the Full Throttle Experience 2016. Our destination is set at speeding things up in your life. And I know that every 9% of the things that we want in life, we want them faster, but there's a plus to faster and there's a minus to faster. So we're going to show you how to get things faster the right way, with excellence, with character, with integrity, with legitness, with hustle, fortitude, and fight. And then we're going to show you how to balance the bike. That's the most important part, which is learning how to balance the bike of your life and your business and your system, so you can make the cheddar you want to make, but do it in a way that allows you to also honor God, honor yourself, honor your family. It's time to balance the bike. I think we've been a little bit off balance in our lives and our careers and businesses, and it's time to get back in balance. We can take things to that next level. We've had some curves. We had to link to those curves. We're on a straightaway. It's time to balance the bike. I'm excited about the Full Throttle Experience 2016. Lives are going to be radically shifted and changed. And if you're ready for profound learning, but experiential learning at a whole nother level, then do whatever you got to do. Cancel every plan you have. I'm trying to tell you right now, whatever it is not October 26th through the 30th. I've already chosen. We got the team. I've assembled the ninjas from around the world who are together in downtown St. Pete, waiting on you. All you gotta do is click the button. It's that easy to put yourself around the greats, to put yourself around the math. The easiest step that there is, which is to put yourself, when the student is ready, the teacher. So if you're coming to Full Throttle Experience, it's not just about us as faculty, but they're about you as a student, that you would attract these gladiators into your life. I'm trying to tell you, there's no place I'd rather be in 2016 than at the Full Throttle Experience 2016. It's going to be, you're going to love it. Click the button to register for the
All right, we may have.
It's now. It's a strategy session. Some of you all know right now that you're being a punk and learning from us from afar. Back to you, Dakisha.
All right. All right, Dale. Thank you, everyone. Be sure to go FTX 2016. Dale has said it all. We're gonna let him go finish his bags and all that stuff and get situated. And again, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. God bless you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.